let it vibe real quick. Look. The city eyes. It's time to Bogart. My God, a real nigga, cause he wasn't no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure, got that shotty in the closet by the mob ball. Fuck what they heard, tell them it's all true. Be cautious, that foundation voltage can fall through. They gon' fall. Look, I keep this shit 50 times 2. Ain't no more heart in this game, I'm John Q. The colder than the avalanche, way above average. Offense taste sweet, told him make me an apple crisp. Left us in the valley full of bones, this where hope found. Child become a man, dark sands get broke down. Riding through Evanston with Mark Quad, telling me how them crackers turn his childhood to a ghost town. Poker stop, nigga, I lay that game down. I feel his pain, cause nothing is the same now. Let my light shine like heaven through a rain cloud. Glock have a fit like my child, so tangent. Try to warn them niggas, we bear arms like tarantulas. Them other niggas rap, I make anthems. I really see profits under this banner. Make my enemies bow down on camera. Told my design I wanted black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that sunk dirty Diana. Look, I move like a facility, precious cargo. Spirit ancient, but I got a new semi-auto. Wave that bitch around like where's Waldo. Sleep if they won't, I cut through they Z's like I'm Zorro. Hate me for his name, so I gotta keep that steel clutch. Trust me, I'm not what you think. I squeeze till it click like Dorothy when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Ride around with Yaradon, just left the state bridge. Looking for a bitch better than Baby's kid. Remember I dropped Quiet Storm, I've been gone ever since. Still in the field, fuck them niggas on the fence, yeah. Yeah, I'm on 44 shit, you know what I mean? Busy man. Look, when that shit drop, you step all the way on their neck, step on their neck and their head with that shit. Fine in, I ain't show no mercy, we gon' show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel, I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived. They don't know how I did it, got it out the mud, straight to glory. They don't know how I feel, he nice but he don't show them skills, how I show them skills. He ride but he don't work the wheel, how I work the wheel. They mad, I'm too solid, circle tight, yeah, vacuum seal. No, they want my life, I ain't worried, I got rank for real. I got real soldiers, kill for me, nigga, watch yourself. They say you been in beast mode lately, you is not yourself. When you dropping that fire, precious marriage, they inquiring. They can't stop what's coming, but I see them conspiring. Cross the line, them firing. This bitch here, finna break the spin. No kindness, I don't trust you, circle small. You can keep your features. Me and my niggas don't keep no secrets. In the field like Jeepers Creepers, say they want some smoke, dawg. So I brought these chimney sweeps. Coming like we coming, you can't even cap. These niggas don't run it like we running, bitch, don't even start. Bitch, I'm with my niggas till the end, till death do us part. So if you wanna leave, you can leave, bitch, bless your heart. Fine in, I ain't show no mercy, we gon' show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel, I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived. They don't know how I did it, got it out the mud, straight to glory. They don't know how I feel, he nice but he don't show them skills, how I show them skills. He ride but he don't work the wheel, how I work the wheel. Ooh, I got a man, circle tight, yeah, vacuum seal. I heard they want my life, I ain't worried, I got rate for real. Take over in effect, yeah, I'm fully focused. You might not see it on me, just know it's women, that bitch fully loaded. Ooh, yeah, we up and rolling. Told them I need major motion. Think I'm joking, I'ma school them niggas like they baby Jody. Got it out the dust, now I'm too clean, don't know why they hate me. What you want out life, dawg? Guns and butter, baby boy. UPK top, dawg. Certified road runner. I'ma turn that econ line van to a damn tank. I got choppers stashed in the attic like they Anne Frank. They had that shit on lock till I snapped on them like bolt cutters. You cannot play both sides, gotta choose your colors. See him throwing that one up with that W, that's my blood, bro. Fine in, I ain't show no mercy, I'm gonna
Hey, Shalom. Shalom, Banyam Sham Shabakafar.
Yeah, but Shimmy Sharberg thought, sir.
All right, this is the ISUPK Wednesday history class. And today it is Valentine's Day, which the world celebrates. Now, if you went and brought some woman flowers and chocolates today, my friend, you are a very weak man. That's number one. You're a very, very, very weak little man. I don't care how big and tall you are, you're a very, very weak little man. Bow down to your woman to buy her flowers. Now, if you're a man that didn't buy flowers, give yourself a hand, man. That's right. I'm telling you, Valentine's Day is some garbage. Valentine's Day ain't biblical. Valentine's Day ain't of the Lord. Valentine's Day ain't a day of love, like what you've been taught in the Christian church. You've been taught in church that Valentine's Day is a day of love. And what you'll find with Valentine's Day is, deep down, every man hates Valentine's Day. No man likes it. No man likes Valentine's Day. Hold on, bear with me 1 second. So Valentine's Day is what weak men celebrate, man. And today you're gonna get what? You're gonna get the breakdown on Valentine's Day.
Shalom, sir, Lord in Christ. Can you hear me?
We're gonna give you the breakdown on Valentine's Day.
Go ahead. Oh, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Oh, most high in Christ. Cool.
All right, someone get me the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 4 and verse 2. Because now we're going to go into Valentine's Day, the history of it, and where it comes from, and what the celebration was before it was Valentine's Day. So before it was ever called Valentine's Day, it was called something else. So we're going to give you the original origins and all of that stuff of where it came from. Hold on, bear with me. All right, so first, bear with me. All right, so someone got 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 2.
Canada, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 2. Preach the word. Be instant in season. out of season.
In season and out of season. And now is the season of Valentine's Day. So we're going to talk about Valentine's Day, man. That's the beautiful thing about the ISUPK. We actually follow the Bible and we preach what's in season and what's out of season. So you will see a lot of posters about Valentine's Day. Yesterday, Tuesday, you had Shrove Tuesday. Wednesday, you had Ash Wednesday, which is Pancake Day, which is also pagan. So Pancake Day is also pagan. So on that day, you shouldn't be making no pancakes and no flipping pancakes and all of those kind of things. Because Pancake Day is pagan also, for those who don't know. It's got Catholic roots and all of those things. It ties in with Lent and all of that nonsense. So that's against our culture too. So now, understanding Valentine's Day, you need to understand Romulus and Remus. So does anyone know who Romulus and Remus is?
Canada, sir.
Go ahead.
Romulus and Remus, they were the two brothers who they were the founders of Rome. I'm guessing, if you could put it that way.
Yes. So now Romulus, that's where Rome comes from. Romulus. So there's Romulus and Remus. They say there was two twin brothers who was suckled by a she-wolf. Does anyone know what the she-wolf was called?
Canada, sir.
Go ahead.
That's the Lupercalia.
Yes, so that's where Valentine's comes from. So now the she-wolf was called Lupe, and then there was a cave called the Lupercal. Then they also had priests called the Luperci. So all of those things ties into Valentine's Day. So now they built an altar on the day of Lupercalia, and the day of Lupercalia is where which became Valentine's Day. So now we're gonna go all the way back to Romulus and Remus. Hold on, let me screen share this because now they said it was two twin boys that got suckled by a she-wolf. Where obviously you know that's fake, but you know that Roman mythology. These is the kind of things that they believe. So right here, can you see the she-wolf on this side with the two twin boys?
Can't, sir.
All right, so that's meant to be Romulus and Remus. So it says Roman mythology, Romulus and Remus are twin brothers whose story tells of the events that led to the founding of the city of Rome and the Roman kingdom by Romulus. So now Valentine's Day goes all the way back to Romulus and Remus. So now it goes, following his fratricide of Remus, the image of a she-wolf suckling the twins in their infancy has been a symbol of the city of Rome. So now they said that a wolf, she-wolf called Lupa, breastfed these two boys and raised them up and raised them strong. And then this was the beginning of Rome and the worship of Roman gods. So then they also had a festival called Lupercalia, and it came from this right here would be the origin of it. So like it says, and the ancient Romans, since at least the 3rd century BC, although the tale takes place before the founding of Rome, around 750 BC, the earliest known written accounts of the myth. Even they know it's a myth. Even they know it's a myth. Is from the late 3rd century BC. Possible historical basis for the story and interpretations of its local variants is subject of ongoing debate. Hold on, let me see if it gives me. Bear with me. I'm going to see if it gives me. All right, so. So now, someone read from here for me. From well-known.
Well-known episode. The twins were suckled by a she-wolf.
So now the twins were suckled by a she-wolf. So Lucky, go ahead. Go ahead, Hakim.
In a cave now known as the Lupercal.
So now the cave, they called it the Lupercal. Why? Because it linked to Lupa and all of those things. So that was the name of the wolf. And then it linked to Lupa. The cave was called Lupercal. And this cave also had priests, which was called the Lupacy. So now we got to the cave part. So that is the name of the cave. So okay, go ahead.
Eventually, they were adopted by Faustulus, a shepherd. They grew up tending flocks, unaware of their true identities. Over time, they became natural leaders and attracted a company of supporters from the community.
So now they attracted company. So now whenever you see them, this will always be the image, a she-wolf breastfeeding two babies. And you know in real life, a she-wolf would have tore those babies up, man. You know in real life, a she-wolf would have tore those babies up. She ain't gonna breastfeed no babies, man. So that's how they founded the city of Rome when Romulus obviously killed his brother and set up the city called Rome. So this is where Romans traced their lineage back and so forth. They traced it all the way back to Romulus. Hold on, let me see if so that's Romulus and Remus. So now let's get someone get me Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8. Let me put up my next article.
Canada one can. Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
It says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. And that right there is the dumbest philosophy ever. That right there is philosophy, and it is read that last part again.
Colossians chapter 2 verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy, and vain deceit.
And if you believe that you've been spoiled through philosophy and vain deceit, why? Because that nonsense ain't true, man. You believe in all of that is insane. So now we're gonna go into, let's go into Lupercalia. So now let's go into Lupercalia because this is where it comes from. So it became, you had Luper, the she-wolf, you had the Lupercal, the cave, you had the Lupercy, the priest, and now we're gonna go into, we're gonna read this. So lucky, get me this one, Hakayan. From Lupercus, from this part.
Khan. Lupercus of the Lupercus of Lupercus was a god in Rome mythology.
And now Lupercus was a god in Roman mythology. Now, basically the same god is Lupercus and Faunus. One's just Greek and one's Roman, but they had the same gods. They would just change the names over time. So once the Romans conquered the Greeks, they kept a lot of the Greek gods and then put their own names on them. And the same way they kept the Greek gods and just changed the names of them is the same way they kept their practices and changed their names on the practices. So you see Valentine's Day and don't realize that people are celebrating the so-called Valentine's Day before Valentine's Day. And they tell you it's a god of love. Why? Because they believe that some of these gods was the gods of love and the gods of fertility. And they had certain practices around when they would have this feast of Lupercalia. But Lucky, go ahead.
Lupercus was a protector of the farmers, harvesting and packs of wild animals. Every year on the 15th of February.
Every year on the what?
15th of February.
So Lupercalia was the 15th of February. And why is it so close to Valentine's Day? Why? Because once the Catholics adopted this holiday into their calendar, they just changed the day so they could appease the Christians and the pagans. And then they done Valentine's Day the day before. So we're really celebrating Lupercalia, but they've changed the day just to the day before. So in about 296 AD or whatever, when they decided to make Saint Valentinus, what's the word now? A saint. They declared him as the symbol of love and said, oh, Valentine's Day. But later on, we're going to find out what happened to Saint Valentinus, man. How he was killed in prison, man. He got locked up and killed. Why? Because he went against their program. Obviously, he was in secret marrying people when the Romans didn't want men to get married. Why? Because they had a draft, and men that was getting married to have escaped the draft until the Roman emperor at the time said, no, we're not going to have this no more. So he was marrying them in secret, and then when he was found out, he got himself killed. So that's what happened with him. Then over time, Christians read about his story and said, oh, let's just change the day of Lupercalia and call it St. Valentine's Day. And that's all it really is. And then now you believe that Venus was the goddess of love, and Venus was running to go to, what's his name? Adonis or Poseidon or whatever. How people's coming to kill him, and she cut her ankles on a thorn bush in the field. And that's why roses is red, because that was Venus's blood. Roses is red because that was Venus's blood. She cut her ankles in the field. That's what this mythology teaches you if you've read anything about Greek mythology. That roses is red because Venus cut her ankles while running through the field, and she turned all the roses red with her blood. And this is the stuff that they have us believing in 2024. Don't worry, we're going to get into that a little bit later. But Salaki, go ahead, Hakayan.
Khan. Every year on the 15th of February, in honor of him, the Romans held the Lupercalia.
The Romans held the Lupercalia in honor of Lupercus. And that's a Greek/Roman god. So when you're celebrating Valentine's Day, you think this is you loving your woman. This has nothing to do with your woman, man. This is you celebrating Roman gods. This is you going against your God. This is you putting another God above your God. The Bible says, what? Thou shalt have no other gods before me. If you're celebrating Valentine's Day, you're putting another God before the Lord, man. You're also putting your woman up as a God. Because you know, as a man, you don't even like Valentine's Day. But because your woman says, oh, do this, get me some flowers, you feel obliged. And what do? Go and get flowers and chocolates. And listen, man, women will make you do soft stuff. And after you do it, you make them feel sick, man. In case you didn't know, in case you didn't know, what women will do, women will make you do some soft, weak sucker stuff, and really she don't want you to do it, man. She'll tell you it's what she wants, and she don't want you to do it. And then when you go do that soft sucker stuff, guess what? You give her the ick, man. She feels like, hey, man, this man makes me sick, man. Look how he's bending and carrying and giving in to all my demands. You think when she's not with her friends, she's saying, yo, I wish my man would tell me no sometimes. Listen, man, she's telling her friends, I wish my man would tell me no sometimes. But when you bend over and give in to her demands and do everything she tells you to do, you give her the ick, man, and she's going to cheat on you. She's going to leave you for what? A man that don't even do the soft stuff that she's telling you to do. Yeah, man, and have a backbone. Say no, man. And your woman's going to ask next year, say no again. And you keep saying no until she gets the picture, until she gets the message, man. Make your head harder than hers. Say no, man. Say, look, man, you can have flowers any day of the year. You can have them on the day when I want to give you them. You ain't going to force me into doing some stuff that I don't want to do. How about I give you the flowers when I want to give you the flowers, man?
Salakia, sir.
It's a white man telling me I must give you on this day. Salakia, go ahead.
Would you say that what they're doing is testing you to see if you're a real man? Like, you know what I mean? If you have manhood.
How yeah? These women want to know. Listen, this is what a woman would do. She'll try certain things and see how far she can go, man. See where you're gonna draw the line. She'll see where you're gonna draw the line, man. And then when you're soft and weak, secretly women don't like weak men. They act like they do, but they don't. They act like they do, but they don't. Why do you think growing up, the Christian man never has no woman, man? Why do you think the Christian boy never has no woman? Because women don't like soft men. The Christian boy never has no woman, man. Christian boy, he wears his three-piece suit and he goes to church, man. You don't see a queue up. You don't see women fighting over him. When have you ever seen women fighting over a Christian man? That don't happen, man. Women, what it is nowadays, women don't know how to choose men. So the men that they do choose, they choose like a man that's in the world that thinks he's a gangster and whatnot. Because in their mind, that's a symbol of strength and whatnot. So even them, they would choose that over the Christian boy. They would choose that over the man that bends the knee and gives into all their commands and every demand they have. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Kadawan Khan, sir. He was an ancient Italian god worshipped by shepherds as the promoter of fertility in sheep and protector of flocks.
Now, you know these heathens worship anything. They worship this god as the promoter of fertility in sheep. Then over time, it turned to worship this god and then you will get pregnant. That's what it turned into. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Kadawan Khan, his sanctuary was the Lupercal or Lupercal.
His sanctuary was the Lupercal. So now they had all these little priests in there called the Lupacy, and this was his sanctuary. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Kadawan Khan, where She-Wolf took care of Romulus and Remus. This is why Lupercalia was a celebration that helped pregnant women.
And that's why this is why it was a celebration that helped pregnant women. So now women believe, you know what? This is the celebration where we're going to be fertile. And why do you think Valentine's Day is all about sex? I mean, how do women get pregnant?
Sex.
There you go. Mary got pregnant through sex. Don't let these Christians lie to you, man. Telling you, oh, she was a virgin and all this nonsense, all of that garbage. But now women get pregnant through sex. And in order for them to be fertile, they have to have sex to get pregnant. So Valentine's Day, they've changed the name and turned it into a day of love, when this was a day of worshiping what they would call the god of fertility. So why do you think people always say, yo, Valentine's Day, loads of women are going to get pregnant? Because it all ties in with this Lupercus and the celebration that they were celebrating in ancient Rome. So it all comes back to this. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Kadawan Khan. Lupercus is sometimes identified with the god Pan in Greek mythology.
Sometimes identified with the god Pan. Go ahead.
Kadawan Khan. The Roman god Faunus is a variation of Lupercus, also linked to the festival of Lupercalia.
Also around this time, I can't remember which one it was, but in about, I think it was Pompilius or one of them. It might have been Pompilius or someone in about 700 BC. This man changed the calendar. So now originally they had 10 months. So they changed the calendar to add 12 months. Why? Because they wanted to follow they wanted the whole lunar year and all of those kind of things. So they started changing the calendar left, right, and center. So that's why you'll find that certain months that didn't even exist back then exist now, because they would change the calendar. And this is why you have like your little leap years, because there were certain days left over and so forth. So they had to make it fit by saying, all right, if we have this much years, we have to have a leap year every so often, so it balances out. So that's where you get all your little leap years and all of those things. So these men was changing the calendar and all of that because they wanted to follow a different cycle. But so lucky, hold on, let me go down. There's a whole other topic. Bear with me. All right, let me stop sharing that. So now that was Lupercus. So now we're gonna go to Lupercalia. So Lupercus was the Greek and Roman god. So now let's go to Lupercalia. Let's see what Lupercalia is. It was a feast where men would run around naked, man, in something like a G-string, slapping people with plants and other kinds of stuff, saying this makes you fertile. So all of it ties into that. So now this is Lupercalia. So read that for me, Banyamin.
Canada one comes, sir. Lupercalia, also known as Lupercal, was a pastoral festival of ancient Rome observed annually from February 13th through 15th.
So now it says it was observed annually from February 13th through to the 15th. And what falls in the middle of that? Valentine's Day. It ain't no coincidence that it's all around the same time. You have to remember, now after they was done with the winter solstice, now they're getting ready to go into spring. So now this is their spring type of holidays. So they're their winter solstice, which is around December and so forth. Now they're getting ready to go into spring with these kind of holidays. So now they're getting ready to go into Lupercalia. Go ahead.
To purify the city, promoting health and fertility.
Promoting health and fertility. And fertility is what? When women are more fertile, when they can get pregnant. So around Valentine's Day, that's why it's surrounded by hotels and sex and rose petals on the bed and women in lingerie and all of those kind of things. Listen, man, you can put your woman in lingerie any day of the year, man. You don't need to put rose petals on the bed. Like, listen, you as a man putting rose petals on the bed and getting the bedroom decorated with all fancy balloons, you, my friend, are a very soft man. That's what you are, man. You're a very soft woman worshipping man. And the Lord called you to be a man with a backbone, man. The Lord called you to be a man with strength instead of being on this woman worship stuff. And you think you're worshiping your woman, you're celebrating Lupercalia, man. One day you should read Lupercalia with your woman, man. Say, yo, we can't do Valentine's Day no more because it ties into all of these pagan origins. Now, if you're not a Roman and you don't believe in the rest of Roman mythology, why are you celebrating Lupercalia? Don't pick one holiday. If you're going to pick one, celebrate them all, man. This is the thing. Most people ain't even Christian, but celebrate Christmas. It makes no sense, man. But it's like you read on Benjamin.
Lupercalia was also known as Deus Febratus, after the purification instruments called Februra, the basis for the month named Februarius.
So that was the name of it. Go ahead.
Name. The festival was originally known as Februra.
So this was the name February, where I believe they got February from. So now the month was named after it. So February is where February comes from. Like I said, they added in February was one of the months that I believe Pompilius added in about 720 BC. So I believe it was it might have been, I believe it was January and February he added in. So these was one of the ones that he added in, January and February. So Lucky, go ahead.
purifications or purgings after the February, which was used on the day. It was also known as Febratus and gave its name variously as epithet to Juno, Febralis, Februlis,
Let me scroll
or
so okay, okay, go ahead.
Canada concert. The name Lupercalia was believed in antiquity to evince some connection with the ancient Greek festival
So
of the
now, I'm tricky to evince some connection with the ancient Greek festival. So why the Greeks came before the Romans, and you know this why? Because the Romans conquered the Greeks and kept a lot of the Greek practices. So now they're letting you know before it was Lupercalia, it goes back to the Greek festival, Arcadian, however you pronounce it, like or whatever. Go ahead.
a wolf festival.
What?
A wolf festival.
It goes back to a wolf festival. And who suckled Romulus and Remus?
Cancer, a she wolf.
You see how it's all going back to Greek mythology. You see how when the Romans came, they just learned a lot of Greek mythology and added their own story. So now Lupe, that was the name of the wolf that suckled Romulus and Remus. They said Arcadian Lachaea goes back to a wolf festival, and that's why Rome also has a wolfman called Lupe. So it's all tying in, like it's all going back. Now we're going to keep going. So Lucky, go ahead.
And the worship of Lachaean Pan, assumed to be a Greek equivalent to Faunus.
So now it's a Greek equivalent to Faunus. So now the Roman god Pan is assumed to be the Greek equivalent to Faunus. Because like I said, the Greeks and the Romans, they had the same gods. They just changed the name over time. So one would be Diana, one would be Venus or whatever. One would be Zeus, and one would be whatever what's his name now? I can't even remember his name, but one would be Zeus and one would be Jupiter, or what? Yeah, one would be Zeus, one would be Jupiter. So things like that. One would be Hercules, one would be Adonis or whatever the name is. So they just changed the names, but it's the same Greek pagan gods they had from Greece. If you go to Greece, there's statues of these fake gods everywhere. There's a place in Greece called Mount Olympus, and they believe that Zeus and all the Greek gods live at the top of the mountain. Like they chose the highest mountain in Greece, and they believe that the Greek gods live there on the top of Mount Olympus. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Instituted by Evander. Justin describes a cult image of the Lycaean god, whom the Greeks call Pan and the Romans call Lupercus.
So the Greeks call him Pan, and the Romans call him Lupercus. Go ahead.
As nude, save for a goatskin girdle.
He just has on a goatskin girdle. So, Lucky, go ahead.
The statue stood in the Lupercal, the cave where tradition held that Romulus and Remus were suckled by the she-wolf Lupa.
So now we're saying that Greek had a wolf festival, and now this is saying there's a statue in the Lupercal, which is the cave where these two boys were supposed raised by the she-wolf, and it's all going back to that same wolf that wolf tradition that Greeks had. So, Lucky, go ahead.
The cave lay at the foot of the Palatine Hill, on which Romulus was thought to have founded Rome. The name of the festival most likely derives from lupus.
See, and the name of the festival most likely derives from lupus, which means wolf. Go ahead.
Though both the etymology and its significance are obscure. The wolf.
Skip this part. Let me scroll down. Yeah, go ahead.
Priesthoods. The Lupercalia had its own priesthood.
So now the Lupercalia also had its own priesthood. Go ahead.
The Luperci, brothers of the wolf.
And that was what was called the Luperci, which means brothers of the wolf. Go ahead.
Whose institution and rites were attributed either to the Arcadian culture hero Evander or to Romulus and Remus, erstwhile shepherds who had each established a group of followers. The Luperci were young men, juveniles, usually between the ages of 20 and 40. They formed two
Scroll down.
religious
Let me scroll down and see if it gives you their practices. Yeah, go ahead. Give me this one, the sacrifice.
sacrifice. At the Lupercal altar, a male goat or goats and a dog were sacrificed by one or another of
So
the
now
Luperci.
at this festival, they would sacrifice male goats and a dog. So they would sacrifice goats and dogs. Go ahead.
Under the supervision of the Flamen Dalis, Jupiter's chief priest.
So they would do this in front of the lupus, in front of the lupacy, the priests that was over their practice. Go ahead.
An offering was also made of salted meal cakes prepared by Vestal virgins. After the blood sacrifice, two Luperci approached the altar. Their foreheads were anointed with blood from the sacrificial knife, then wiped clean with wool soaked in milk, after which they were expected to laugh.
So there would be blood from the sacrifice knife. They'd wipe the blood away, and then they'll drink milk while they'll clean it. They'll soak it in milk, and after these men were expected to laugh. And this was a festival of drunkenness and nakedness. And hold on, we're going to read on it. Shataya, Lucky, go ahead.
The sacrificial feast followed, after which the Luperci cut thongs, known as februa, from the flayed skin of the animal and ran with these, naked or near naked.
So now this festival, they would put on thongs, man. Says after which the lupacy cut thongs, so the from the flayed skin of the animals. So the lupacy, that was like the priests over these things, and they was running around in thongs. They was running around in a thong, or they was naked, and that's why these holidays is all about nakedness and stripping off and all of those kind of things. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Along the old Palatine boundary, in anti-clockwise direction around the hill. In Plutarch,
they would run in an anti-clockwise direction around the hill. So when you're celebrating Valentine's Day, just know this is where it all comes from. It's not a day of love. It's not a symbol of love. It comes from Lupercalia. But everyone's going to want to know, so how does Valentine's tie into this? In a minute, we're going to get to that. Give me a minute. We're going to get to who the world calls Saint Valentine. So, Lucky, go ahead.
In Plutarch's description of the Lupercalia, written during the early Roman Empire, many of the noble youths and of the magistrates run up and down through the city naked.
They would run up and down through the city naked. They would run up and down through the city naked in worship of their God. So they would run through the city butt naked, no clothes on, and tons of people are running through the city doing this because this is a holiday of nakedness. This is a holiday of nakedness and fertility and all of that stuff. Go ahead.
For sport and laughter, striking those they meet with saggy thongs. And many women of rank also purposely get in their way.
Many women of rank also purposely get in their way. And this is why. So, Lucky, wait a minute, what happened there? Bear with me. Yeah, and this is why women will be single all year round. Hold on, where's my article gone? Bear with me. Hold on. So, Lucky, give me a minute. I accidentally. Hold on, so Lucky, go ahead. Go ahead.
Another one can. For sport and laughter, striking those they meet with saggy thongs. And many women of rank also purposely get in their way, and like children at school present their hands to be struck, believing that.
I'm just trying to fix my screen. For some reason, my screen is deciding to do its own thing. Bear with me. You know what? Hold on, wait a minute. I'm gonna have to stop sharing that one. I'm gonna have to use a new tab. Bear with me. Let me go back to it. Hold on, let me just scroll down to where we was. Yeah, all right. So this is where we was. Bear with me. Also, any questions? Just type them in the chat, and we'll get to them. Yeah, go ahead. Actually, hold on. I think it was down. Yeah, go ahead.
Canada and Cancer. And many women of rank also purposely get in their way and, like children at school, present their hands to be struck.
So now,
believing
in front of these naked men, women would get in their way, and this is why so much women through Valentine's Day. Have you all? I don't know if you have noticed that during the Valentine's Day period, all the single women be asking men, "Are you taking me out for Valentine's Day?" You've heard that, right? Women that you don't even engage with asking you, "Are you taking me out for Valentine's Day?" All of those things. There's a reason why they do it, and they don't know. These women here would purposely get in the way to get struck, believing that they're gonna get pregnant and whatnot. And women do that nowadays, like, "Oh, you're taking me out for Valentine's Day." Why? Because people want to purposely get involved in these practices. Now, the way to do it's changed. Back then, these women would get struck with something. Nowadays, what do women do? Put on their internet post, "Who's taking me out for Valentine's Day?" So she'll go out with you for Valentine's Day. She'll have sex with you that night. And then tomorrow, you probably won't hear from her again. She won't hear from him again. You both going to go different ways. Go ahead.
And they get struck with a Valentine's card.
Exactly. That's it. Who's sending me a Valentine's card? Who's sending me chocolates and flowers? And listen, man, I'm convinced that a ton of women are buying their own chocolates and flowers, man. I'm telling you, I can't see black men going out of their way buying all these chocolates and flowers. I mean, we all messed up, but damn, I don't think I can't see black men going out their way doing all of that. That ain't adding up, man. A lot of these women are buying flowers themselves. Listen, I seen a woman post today that, "Oh my God, he had flowers delivered to my workplace." She brought those for herself, man. Listen, she brought those from Asda yesterday, and she walked into work with them and took a picture. Because why? There's a thing called FOMO. Does anyone know what FOMO means?
No, sir.
All right, then. So FOMO means fear of missing out. And tons of people have the fear of missing out. So what do? They like to get involved in something they shouldn't get involved in. Christmas ain't, and Easter and Valentine's Day ain't for us, man. Don't be the natural man. Be supernatural. In here, we're supernatural, man. Meaning, ain't nobody like us, man. Ain't nobody as rough as us. Ain't nobody as hardcore as us. Ain't nobody stand on something like we do, man. No one ain't as hardcore as us. The rest of the world's scared to tell their woman no for Valentine's Day. So guess what? Everybody, guess where everybody is today? In the cinema watching the Bob Marley biopic. That's where everybody is today, man. Everybody's in the cinema watching that Bob Marley movie for Valentine's Day. They're all hugged up on the sofa. And this woman cheats on you, man. Listen, if you're celebrating Valentine's Day, your woman cheats on you, man. And you're the sucker spending the money today. And she cheats on you with a man that ain't spending no money, man. And she prefers him to you. Don't be soft, man. Be a man. Don't be weak for no woman. You can get you know how gangster it is to wake up. You know how gangster it is to wake up a random morning in July and say, "You know what? My ribs, a good woman, let me go buy her some flowers." Guess what I did just there? I decided I wanted to buy her the flowers, man. I decided I want to go buy you some flowers. I decided I want to go buy you some chocolates and a teddy bear. I decided I want to do it. No oppressor had to tell me when I have to do it, man. No oppressor can tell me what day I must love my woman. No oppressor can tell me what day I must treat my woman. I do it when I want to do it, man. That's what a real man is. A real man is a man who decides he's going to buy his woman flowers when he wants to do it. Now look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, are you a real man? Can you say no to your woman? Do you wear the trousers in that house? Are you the man of that house? You know, man. If you brought the flowers, you're probably not. If you're celebrating Valentine's Day, you're probably not. So lucky, go ahead, Benjamin.
Canada one can, sir. Believing that the pregnant will thus be helped in delivery and the barren to pregnancy.
Hold on, let me scroll down. Go ahead.
History. The February was of ancient and possibly...
Hold on, this right here is just going to tell you that basically probably about the days they added in. Go ahead.
Descriptions of Lupercalia festival of 44 BC attest.
Hold on, I'm trying to skip a lot of this out for time's sake. So yeah, this is about them this is about them banning it and so forth. Hold on. I'm trying to scroll down to see if there's... All right, everyone gets the point. So that's Lupercalia. Someone can get me 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 7. Before I pull up, what's his name?
Do you want it now, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
1 Peter 3, verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge.
Dwell with them according to knowledge, man. Listen, go ahead. It's like you read on.
To the one can. Giving honor unto the wife.
And dwelling with them according to knowledge means what?
According to how the scriptures told us to live with them.
And how did it say we're supposed to live with them?
Love them as your own body.
Nah, that's not what this part's talking about.
Okay.
So lucky, sir, keeping the commandments.
That, but there's a scripture in specific that one. It says, "Dwell with them according to knowledge." What is the knowledge of how a house is supposed to run?
The man is the head.
There you go. That's what it's talking about. Dwell with them according to knowledge. And what's the knowledge? And when you dwell with you, what's the knowledge? The knowledge is you're the head of the house, man. Go ahead.
Talakia, sir. How did you, if you don't mind me asking, I'm not questioning the scripture or anything like that. I just would like to know where you got the knowledge, meaning the man being the Christ being the head, man then woman. Is that the scripture there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Salakia, no sir.
So yeah, the man being the head is in First Corinthians 10 or something?
I think so. Yeah.
So that's why this one here says, "Dwell with them according to knowledge," and then when you read on, it will let you know why. So lucky, go ahead.
Could one can, sir? Giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel.
Giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel. So if she's the weaker vessel, what are you?
The stronger vessel.
There you go. So now your house is going to be, and what's the order of the household? The man's
Christ.
in charge.
Salakia.
So the man's in charge of the house, and he's the stronger vessel, and she's the weaker vessel. Now, if you take orders from the weaker vessel, it means that she's in charge, and you're not dwelling with her according to knowledge.
When you say orders, Salakia, sir, really, I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but when you say taking orders from the woman, could you just specify, because people out there as well as myself might get it wrong, like if your wife is saying, you know, can you go to the shop and do this, or can you go and pick up that, or what can you specify what you mean by that, if you could?
All right, let me specify what I mean. You taking orders from your wife, like, you better take me out for Valentine's Day. You better bring me some flowers. Her ordering you, not asking you to go to the shop, her ordering you. Now she can ask you, like, oh, can on your way back to the house, can you just stop off at the shop and get me this? That's fine. But if she's ordering you, like telling you, like, you almost have to do it in that kind of way.
Right. Okay, like without the asking, just the ordering.
Like basically her thinking she's the head of you.
Right. Okay.
So now your woman can have a good point. Like you could want to do something. Like let's say you could want to go spend all your money on a car or whatever. And then your woman can have an opinion saying, no, I don't think you should do that because you know the bills. And sometimes your wife might be right. Sometimes your rib was sometimes a wise woman speaks with sense. And you have to say, you know what, that makes sense. And then there's other times when a woman speaks foolishness. So you need to know when she's speaking sense and when she's speaking foolishness.
Right.
And there's been tons of times where men in the scriptures have listened to women speaking foolishness, and that was their ruin. So you need to know when she's speaking sense and when she's not speaking sense. And you're the head of the house, meaning what? Your rib's supposed to come to you, man.
Right.
And guess what? If you're not gonna obey that man, you had no reason, you had no business having sex with him, man. Listen, man. You're talking about you're your own woman and you do whatever you want. When you had one leg on this side of the world and the other leg on that side of the world, you gave up them rights, man. You gave up them rights to be doing whatever you want, man. You belong to that man now. That man is your husband now. Don't complain now. I mean, you didn't have to open your legs. I mean, he didn't force you to open your legs. So you open your legs to him. You follow them orders, man. So luck here. That's how it goes. This ain't the man for you. Then don't open your legs, man. This is why you have the courting period. Why? Because during that period, you can work out if you want to be with this man or if you don't want to be with this man. This man can work out if he wants to be with this sister, if you don't want to be with this sister. So lucky, go ahead.
So lucky, so also, if I may just ask, you know, when you just say like take orders from the man, someone could perceive that as, yeah, go and do this or go and do that. Can you tell us how we're supposed to talk with them? Like,
all right, so
or something, or I know they're the weaker vessel, I understand. But when you say take orders from the man, from the time you open your leg, take the orders, it come across like, you know, you have to be demeaning or, you know.
Also, with your rib, pull it this way. You're supposed to get to the stage where your rib gives you the power by she submits to you willfully. Like she don't fight against you. Like you should get to the stage where your rib, she gives you that power. You see in order, you see what it is when the Bible says submit to your husbands. Like you shouldn't have to force her to submit. She's supposed to submit to you anyway. She's supposed to see that you're a great man, and she's supposed to want to fall under you. So she will give you the power. And that's what it is. There's no way you get the power other than her giving it to you. Other than her giving it to you, saying, here's my man, I'm going to listen to what he says. But now, also as a man, because you're in charge and you run the house, that don't mean you throw your weight around the house and make it a horrible experience for everybody. That don't mean you wake her up out of her sleep and say, go make me a sandwich. That don't mean you see she's had a hard day and you come home and there's no food cooked and you start stamping your feet around and getting all angry and aggressive. It ain't that, man. As a husband, guess what? You're supposed to have the power and you're supposed to be so merciful that you can see that your rib's tired, man. Don't worry about it, baby. We can order fast food tonight. Don't worry about it. You don't need to wake up early in the morning to make bread. Don't worry. I'll eat something else. You go get your sleep, man. You're supposed to be a man that can, because you got the power, it don't mean you abuse it. You're supposed to have the power and do the right thing with it.
Right.
Whereas, look at it like a job. Now, with a job, the manager has the power, and the manager with the power usually gives everybody a hard time. The manager with the power, he makes everybody's job hard. Why? Because he throws his in charge ship around. You don't want to be like that in the house. You want to have the power and be merciful at the same time, man. You want to be able to use that power and say to your rib, don't worry, man. Have a line tomorrow. Don't worry. You've had a hard day at work. You don't have to cook today. Just we can order something else. Be a man where your woman can say, my husband, I love my husband. Is he's masculine, is strong, and is fair, and is merciful as well. Like you don't want to be that man that comes in. Where's the effing dinner? I'm starving. You don't want to be that man. If you're that man, you're abusing your power.
Right.
And she's gonna hate you, man. So you want to be that man where now there's sometimes you have to check your woman, it's gonna come. And there's times where you don't have to check your woman. There's times where you can see, your woman's been in order 5 days a week and whatever, and she's tired today, so she can't do certain things. And you want to say, don't worry about it, go and lie down. You want to see her doing the laundry, you want to say to her, you know what? I see you tired, don't worry about it, you can do it tomorrow. Or you can say, don't worry about it, I'll do the laundry. Now, is it a sin for a man to do the laundry? Man? It's not like you're washing the clothes in the bath like back in the days. All you're doing is pressing a few buttons, man. Sometimes you can say, you know what? Don't worry, you go lie down. I'm going to cook. Because some people get mixed up. Some people get being hardcore mixed. Some people think being hardcore means I have to treat my woman like shit. That don't make you hardcore, man. That makes you an idiot, man. You're supposed to be so hardcore, your woman knows it, and you still can love your woman, man. Imagine being so hardcore and still being able to love your woman, man. That's how it's supposed to be. The one is you don't ever want to abuse your power. You don't want to abuse your wife. You don't want to take her kindness for granted. You don't want to speak to her like she's not a human being. Speak to her like you love her, man. Speak to her how you would want a man to speak to your sister. Speak to her how you would want a man to speak to your father. You don't need to speak to her or rudely. Like, oh, get me this. Use your manners, man. Please and thank you. Listen, man, every time I ask me, oh, can you get me that, please? All right, thanks for doing this. I appreciate you. Thanks for doing this. Let her know you appreciate her from time to time, man. Let her know what she's doing. It's a good thing. Because believe you me, there's women out there that ain't gonna do nothing for a man, and yours does. So you don't want to abuse her in the process. Hopefully that answers your question, Salakia.
We could have one counsel. That's excellent, sir. The order.
All right, most in Christ. Salakia, go ahead with 1 Peter 3:7.
Could have one con. 1 Peter 3:7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as the weaker. Salakia. As the weaker vessel.
And listen, man, let your woman play her position, man. You honor your wife when she does something good, man. You love her, respect her. Like, people think being a husband means I have to, I can't, go for dinner with my wife and I can't do whatever. Listen, love your woman, man. Love your woman. The thing is this, just love her on days when, don't love her on days when the oppressor tells you have to. You love her every day of the year, man. That's what we're doing here. And that's why our wives know Valentine's Day is garbage. You know why? Because they know all these women celebrating Valentine's Day don't know what real love is, man. They don't know what real love is. And that's why they're going to sacrifice 364 days for one day. They're going to sacrifice all them days to get 1 day of love. When you get with a man in here, you can have every day of love. You can have an endless love. So, lucky. Go ahead.
Could one counsel. And as being heirs together of the grace of life.
It's being heirs together, man. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm trying to find. Wait, bear with me. Let me see if I can find it. Claudius banned marriages. There was a man that was a Roman emperor and he banned marriages. Hold on. Actually, hold on. Let me just go to Saint Valentine. So let me give you the story of Saint Valentine. How to put him in jail. The claim that he was a Christian and he made the claim that he made someone's blind daughter be able to see. All of that nonsense. But hold on, let me pull it up. All right, this is Saint Valentine's. Lucky, get me this one for me, Hakayan.
Saint Valentine's, Italian, San Valentino, Latin, Valentius, was a third century Roman saint,
So
commemorated
it was a third century Roman saint. So
commemorated in Western Christianity on February the 14th.
and it was commemorated in Western Christianity. Go ahead.
Quran Khan, and in Eastern Orthodoxy on July the 6th. From the High Middle Ages, his saint's day had been associated with a tradition of courtly love.
So now they associated him with courtly love. So now we're going to read why they made him a saint. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead.
Quran Khan. He is also a patron saint of tourney, epilepsy, and beekeepers. Saint Valentine was a clergyman, either a priest or a bishop in the Roman Empire, who ministered
bishop in the Roman Empire that was marrying people in secret. Go ahead.
to persecute Christians. He was martyred and his body buried on the Via Flaminia on February the 14th.
So now he was beheaded on well, he was executed, however he died, and the February the 14th. So that's why they do Valentine's on February the 14th. But really, it's Luke Caleb. Go ahead.
Quran Khan, which has been observed as the feast of Saint Valentine, Saint Valentine's Day.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold
on, wait a minute.
Relics of.
Bear with me. I'm going to try to scroll down to. Trying to scroll down. Yeah, go ahead. Actually, hold on. Wait a minute. This is a bit long. I'm trying to.
Do you want me to read it a bit faster, sir, or?
No, I'm trying to. I'm just going to try to skip down. Bear with me. Basically, I'm trying to find the letter because he fell in love with the prison guard's daughter. Let me see if I can find it.
Still okay, so I just think you scroll past.
I've scrolled past it. Yes, yeah.
The legendary.
Yeah, go ahead.
Aurea, the legendary Aurea of Jacobus de Voragine, compiled in about 1260 and one of the most read books of the High Middle Ages, gives sufficient details of the saint for each day of the liturgical year to inspire a homily on each occasion. The very brief vita of Saint Valentine states that he was executed for refusing to deny Christ by the order of the Emperor Claudius.
So now they claim that this man was a Christian, and they claim that obviously the Roman Empire, they was still believing in Roman mythology. Go ahead.
In the year 269, before his head was cut off, this Valentine restored sight and hearing to the daughter of his jailer, of the jailer.
So now his jailer's name, I believe his name was Asterius, and he had a daughter called Julia. And Saint Valentine fell in love with Julia. Go ahead.
Jacobus makes a play with the etymology of Valentine.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. Maybe if I let me try pull up a different one. Maybe if I type in Asterius, it will give me the story straight away. Asterius. Bear with me. Fucking Asterius Valentine. I believe that is his name. This one might this page here might give me. Bear with me. Nah, this ain't the right one. Bear with me, I'm gonna find it. You know what? Hold on. Let me type in Saint Valentine and Julia. Bear with me. You know what? Hold on. Wait. Where is it? Why can't I find it? Actually, hold on. You know what? Let me read it. Let me read it from here. Is this the right one? Bear with me. Wait, let me stop sharing this one. That's not the one I need. That's not the one I need. All right, this is the one I need. Bear with me. Share screen. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, read it from this one here. Actually, start from Valentinus here. Just start from this part, Valentinus.
At the bottom. Oh, Valentinus, the Latin version of his name.
So Valentinus is the Latin version of his name. Well, obviously, in English they call it Valentine's. Lucky.
Was discussing the validity of Jesus. The judge put Valentinus to the test and brought him the judge's adopted blind daughter.
Now, this was Julia, I believe. They say Julia was blind, and he healed her eyesight. So they say, go ahead.
If Valentinus succeeded in restoring this girl's sight, Asterius would do whatever he asked. Valentinus, praying to God, laid his hands on her eyes, and the child's vision was restored.
So now they say this Christian man that was in jail restored their vision. Go ahead.
Kadawan Khan, immediately humbled, the judge asked Valentinus what he should do. Valentinus replied that all of the idols around the judge's house should be broken, and the judge should be and that the judge should fast for 3 days and then undergo the Christian sacrament of baptism. The judge obeyed, and as a result of his fasting and prayer, freed all the Christian inmates under his authority. The judge, his family, and his 44-member household of adult family members and servants were baptized.
They say that Valentinus brought him to Christianity. So now, with Saint Valentine, this is why in the church they commemorated him as a saint. Why? Because they was like he done good works here. So after his death, after he was killed and whatnot, that's why he became a saint. But obviously the mass Lupercalia with this day. So lucky, go ahead.
Valentinus was later arrested again for continuing to evangelize. He was sent to the prefect of Rome.
And I can't find it right now, but Claudius II, who was the Roman emperor at the time, he didn't want the men to get married because he goes, the men was getting married to avoid the draft because they didn't want to go to war. So he banned men from getting married. And then Saint Valentine was marrying these men in secret. He was getting them married in secret. And then that's why he was mostly thrown in prison for doing Christian works in secret, marrying the men. And then they weren't being drafted for the war because obviously when you married He was like, yo, you can't fight properly if you're married because, you know, you're worried about your wives and you got all of these things to take care of and blah, 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 blah. So, like, you go ahead.
Quran Khan. He was sent to the prefect of Rome, to the Emperor Claudius Gothicus, Claudius II himself. Claudius took a liking to him until Valentinus tried to convince Claudius to embrace Christianity. Claudius refused and condemned Valentinus to death.
And he refused and condemned him to death. Go ahead.
Commanding that that Valentinus either renounce his faith or he would be beaten with clubs and beheaded. Valentinus refused and was executed outside of the Flamina.
So now they killed him. Hold on, I'm trying to find the. Yeah, this is what I wanted. Go ahead.
Flaminian Gate on the 14th of February, 269. An embellishment to this account states that before his execution, Saint Valentine wrote a note to Asterius' daughter.
So now he wrote a note to Asterius' daughter. Asterius' daughter was called Julia. That's the one who was blind and they say he healed her sight. Go ahead.
Quran Khan, signed from your Valentine.
Signed from what?
Your Valentine.
And this is why you run around saying Happy Valentine's. Because in his letter, his last letter that he wrote to Julia, he put signed from your Valentines. And that's where it comes from when you say Happy Valentine's. So then they masked Lupercalia of worshipping wolves and sex and festivities between February the 13th and February the 15th. And then because Romans like this wanted to keep celebrating Lupercalia, but the Roman Empire became Christian, what did they do? They said, you know what, let's call Lupercalia Valentines. And Lupercalia became Valentine. So what did they do? They had to go get a saint, what they would call a saint, and mask it to cover the other things. Does everyone get what I mean?
Can't, sir.
So that's why Valentines and Lupercalia is the same thing. So now the Romans would call it Lupercalia, and Christians would call it Valentines, but really it's the same thing. So Lucky, go ahead.
If I may, sir. So basically they're just trying to cover up all the lies, right?
Yes. So now they cover up all the lies with a Christian holiday.
Right.
Put a Christian spin on it. And really, this is Lupercalia running around, men running around naked with a thong. And then they changed it to a symbol of love, Saint Valentine's. Then they started incorporating all this love stuff into it. But they've covered up a pagan holiday in worship of another god. And then they've masked it with this. Lucky, go ahead.
Quran Khan, which is said to have inspired today's romantic missives. Can you go up, sir?
Give me this one. Actually, you know what? For time's sake, we might skip this. But this is just letting you know other practices of what they do, of what the Saint Valentine used to do. He was a priest to fight the order of the emperor and secretly perform Christian weddings for couples, allowing the husbands involved to escape conscription into the pagan army. This legend claims that soldiers were sparse at the time, so this was a big inconvenience to the emperor. The account mentions that in order to remind these men of their vows and God's love, Saint Valentine's is said to have cut hearts from parchment, giving them to these persecuted Christians. A possible origin of the widespread use of hearts on Saint Valentine's Day. So it all comes from this. Let me see if there's any more. Trying to move on for time's sake. Bear with me. Yeah, give me this one. From Saint Valentine of Rome. Wait, has it moved? I don't think it's moved.
That answer.
Oh, so Lucky, hold on, wait a minute, I was on the wrong one. Bear with me. Yeah, this one here, from here.
I've got this. Canada one comes, sir. Saint Valentine of Rome was martyred on February 14th in AD 269.
So now he died February 14th, the day of Valentine's Day. And then Lupercalia was between February 13th and 15th. So they just masked Lupercalia with Valentine's. Go ahead.
The feast of Saint Valentine, also known as Saint Valentine's Day, was established by Pope Gelasius I in AD 496 to
In
be
84,
celebrated.
this is like 230 something years after he's been dead. So if they didn't have a Valentine's Day up until like 496 AD, what was they celebrating on February the 14th? What holiday was they?
So, like you said, that would be the Lupercalia.
Yes. So that it was Lupercalia, and why? And now, have you noticed? All of a sudden, they were celebrating Lupercalia, and now Lupercalia. As soon as Valentine's Day comes around, Lupercalia disappears. Why? Because Valentine's Day is the celebration of Lupercalia. Valentine's Day is the celebration of Lupercalia. That's why as soon as Valentine's Day came around, Lupercalia disappeared because the Romans, they were celebrating Lupercalia, and then then to keep the Christians happy and the pagans happy, they just kept the same days and just changed the names. All right, you Christians call it Valentine's Day, you Romans call it Lupercalia. It's the same holiday and you celebrate it in your own way. That's exactly what it was. So, Lucky, go ahead.
496 to be celebrated on February 14th in honor of the Christian martyr.
Go ahead.
February 14th is Saint Valentine's Day in the Lutheran calendar of saints.
Hold on, let me scroll down for time's sake. Go ahead.
English 18th century antiquarians Alban Butler and Francis Dose.
So now, what we're going to read now is going to bring it home. It's going to let you know that Valentine's Day is Lupercalia. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Noting the obscurity of St. Valentine's identity, suggested that St. Valentine's Day was created as an attempt to supersede the pagan holiday of Lupercalia.
Valentine's Day was what?
Was created as an attempt to supersede the pagan holiday of Lupercalia.
Valentine's Day.
Salakia, sir.
Says Lucky, go ahead. Was you going to say something?
Salakia, sir. I was just going to read it again, Salakia.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, read it one more time.
Noting the obscurity of St. Valentine's identity, suggested that St. Valentine's Day was created as an attempt to supersede the pagan holiday of Lupercalia.
St. Valentine's Day was created as an attempt to supersede the pagan holiday of Lupercalia. Listen, man. Valentine's Day is Lupercalia. You buying your woman flowers and chocolates, it all goes back to Lupercalia. And this is the history of it, man. It said it was done to supersede the pagan holiday Lupercalia. So if Valentine's Day originated from Lupercalia and Lupercalia is pagan, that would also make Valentine's Day pagan, man. The Bible says you can't make something unclean clean, man. You can't bring a clean thing out of the unclean. You can't try just use a holiday and change the name and think that makes it clean. Life doesn't work like that, man. It's a pagan holiday. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Mid-February in Rome.
Let me see if there's any more. Go ahead.
During the Middle Ages, it was believed that birds paired in mid-February. This was then associated with the romance of Valentine. Although these legends differ, Valentine's Day is widely recognized as a day for romance and devotion. And
now, they say it's a day widely recognized for romance and devotion. And back then, it was, fertility, believing the fertility god would make you pregnant and all of those stuff. And this is what your woman has you out here celebrating, man. Your woman has you out here celebrating. Someone get me the book of Judges chapter 14 and verse 15. Go ahead whenever you got it.
Canada one concert. Judges chapter 14 and verse 15. And it came to pass on the seventh day that they said unto Samson's wife, entice thy husband, that he
And
may
now, and
declare
now,
unto us the riddle.
and now it said unto Samson's wife, entice your husband, man. And listen, man, the oppressor with his adverts tells your wife to entice you, man. The oppressor with his adverts tells your wife, entice your husband so he can spend money and get flowers. Do you know how much money they make on Valentine's Day? Black people always complaining we got no money. The amount of money you spend on Valentine's Day, man. Don't get enticed by the oppressor and what he shows on TV. Don't be brainwashed into celebrating this pagan holiday. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Entice thy husband, that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn thee and thy father's house with fire.
Go ahead. So now, this is when Samson had a rib, and his rib always used to be like to me, oh, so where's your power come from? Where's your power come from? And these men was threatening her. They was like, yo, if you don't do this, we're gonna burn down your house and so forth. The oppressor does this to our women all the time. If you don't kick that man out of the house, we're gonna cut off your universal credit and all of those kind of things. So they went to her, said, yo, you better entice your husband or ABC is gonna happen. So she's then gone back to him, giving him a headache, moaning every day. So Lucky, go ahead.
Have ye called us to take that we have? Is it not so? Verse 16. And Samson's wife wept before him and said,
And she wept for him, and listen,
Thou
your
dost
woman's gonna cry before you. She's gonna cry before you. Get me those flowers. Get me this. Get me that. She's gonna cry her eyes out, man. Why? Because if she's not hardcore and if she's not One West, she's a woman in the world. She's gonna cry her eyes out for flowers and chocolates and all of the stuff that she doesn't even need. So, Lucky, go ahead.
and said, Thou dost but hate me, and
And she
lovest
said,
me
"Yeah,
not.
listen, if you've got a woman that's not in this truth, she's gonna say, you hate me. Why aren't we celebrating Valentine's Day? You must hate me. She's gonna say, why aren't we celebrating Valentine's Day? You must hate me. You do, man. All my friends got flowers. All my friends got chocolates. All my friends got this. You must hate me as to why you're not getting me these things, man. And she's gonna say this to make you think, you know what? Let me get her some flowers. You're gonna say, no, I don't hate you. I love you. I'm trying to save you. I don't want to celebrate it. She's gonna say, you hate me, man. And don't give in. This is what you say to her. When she says you hate me, this is what you say to her. I don't hate you, but I hate the oppressor, man. That's what you say. You say, I don't hate you. I hate pagan holidays. I hate the oppressor. You say, I love God, and I'm going to love the Lord enough for both of us, man. I'm going to love the Lord for me and you so he don't kill you for your stupidity, man. I'm going to pray the Lord spares your stupid life by me being so righteous and never buying no flowers and chocolates on February the 14th, which will save me, you, and the kids, man. That's what you should say to her. Say, what I'm doing is to save me, you, and the kids. You don't understand it now, but you will understand it later on. And you're still not going to get those flowers and chocolates on February 14th. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and has not told it me.
Go ahead.
And he said unto her, Behold, I have not told it to my father nor my mother, and shall I tell it to thee?
He said, yo, I ain't even told my mother or my father what you asking me, man. I ain't even told them, and yet I must tell you. Go ahead.
And she wept before him 7 days.
And she cried for 7 days, man. If your woman's going to cry for 7 days because you don't buy her flowers, this is what you do. Make her cry for 8 days, man. Make her cry for 9 days. You don't give in and be weak because she's crying. Listen, man. Let her cry, man. But you're sparing her life. At least you're serving the Lord for the both of you, man. Tell her, look, man, you can have flowers any other day. Cry. Listen, she'll stop crying eventually. Samson gave in to this woman. So, Lucky, go ahead.
While their feast lasted, and it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her, because she lay sore upon him.
Any what?
And it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her.
And on the 7th day, he told her, man. This man told her, listen, man, don't be pillow talking with your woman, man. Don't be telling your woman your whole business. The Bible says, the Bible says, so like you find me that scripture, Hakian, where it goes, Keep the doors of thy mouth from the woman that lies in your bosom. Listen, man, you ain't supposed to tell everything. So, like I say that again.
I said, "Cut one can't."
You ain't supposed to tell your woman everything, man. Listen, certain things that goes on, your rib don't need to know. You and the brothers going to councils or whatever in the school. She don't need to know the ins and outs. Don't be pillow talking with your woman, telling your woman you can't stand this person in the school and you can't stand that person and you don't like this brother and you don't like that sister. Don't be telling your woman all that. That makes no sense, man. Because guess what happens? One day you'll be reconciled, and when your woman's disgruntled, she's gonna go straight to the internet, man. And everything you've told her in pillow talking is gonna be on the internet, man. It's gonna be on the internet. I'm trying to tell you, man. Everything you say to women that you think is in confidence, it's not in confidence, man. Let her get 5% disgruntled. Facebook, the whole thing's on the internet, man. Listen, man, don't be doing what Samson was doing, telling his rib everything, pillow talking, moving or something. Imagine this was a strong brother, strong, and is weak when it comes to women, man, telling them everything. He shouldn't have told her nothing, man. Because of that, what happened? The Spirit of the Lord left him. The Spirit of the Lord left him. His enemies got their hands on him, and that was the end of him, man. He came to nothing. Why? Because he wanted to give into women. Solomon also gave into women, man. Started to celebrate Valentine's Day and all of them things. Started to build temples and castles to the Moabites and all of those things. Why? Because he did what? Got weak over a woman. Be careful, man. You think you're doing these things because you love her, when these things is going to be your ruin. These things is going to be what destroys you, man. Don't be out there secretly celebrating Valentine's Day, secretly buying chocolates and cards and thinking that we're not going to know. Because this disgruntled woman one day is going to come on Facebook and say, I don't know why he's talking all that, because we celebrated Valentine's Day last year. We celebrated Valentine's Day. Listen, we're going to see your picture of you sitting in the restaurant on February the 14th with the balloons on the table saying Happy Valentine's Day. And we're going to know what type of person you are, man. Don't be celebrating that garbage. Salakia, go ahead.
Micah, Salakia.
Actually, hold your one, Benjamin. Read your one, Hakayan.
Quran Khan. Micah 7:5. Trust ye not in a friend. Put ye not confidence in a guide. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom.
Keep your mouth shut, man. Don't be telling your woman everything. Keep your mouth shut. That way, when she does come to Facebook talking nonsense, she can't be posting stuff that, you get me, that came from you. Keep your mouth shut, man. Don't tell her everything. Sometimes you just tell her, yo, I'm going down the road, I'll be back later on. She don't need to know the ins and outs of where you're going and A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and all of those kind of things. Solomon gave this woman the ins and outs, and the Spirit of the Lord left him. Now, people think the power was in Solomon's hair. Nah, that power came from the Lord, man.
No,
and once he gave this woman his mind and his heart, the Spirit of the Lord left him, man.
So
there's someone that do what? Leave the truth following a woman. The Spirit of the Lord done left them. People think that they leave the truth. You don't leave the truth, man. The Spirit of the Lord leaves you. That's what happens.
That's right.
You don't leave the truth. The Spirit of the Lord leaves you. Right. And you think that you left. That's how simple you are, man. You didn't leave. The Spirit of the Lord left you, and that's what happened, man. So you ain't been the same since the Spirit of the Lord left you. That's right. Out there looking rough and dusty and making videos, the ISUPK, Nobody watches your videos, man. Right. You're making videos about that. We don't care about you, man. The Spirit of the Lord left you. You go live happily over there. What do we care? We have work to do in here. We have a nation to build in here, and we're going to do that work, man. That's right. So, Lucky, go ahead.
So, Lucky, sir, you just said Solomon instead of Samson. So, Lucky, so just
yes, Samson. Also, Solomon. Solomon also started doing weak stuff over women.
No, so you were saying about the hair and that with Solomon. You didn't say Samson.
Samson, so Lucky. So the hair is Samson.
Yeah.
So he let that woman cut his braids, man. He had the Nazarite vow. He let her cut his braids and so forth. So Lucky, go ahead, Benjamin.
Kadado and Khan. And it came to pass on the 7th day that he told
Oh,
her
wait a minute.
because
Wait a minute. Let me see if I want Judges 16. Wait a minute. Let me see. Bear with me. Hold on one sec. Yeah, give me Judges. Hakim, give me Judges chapter 16 and verse 15. For time's sake. So the backdrop is she kept asking him, where's your power come from? Where's your power come from? Where's your power come from? How can you do this? Why can you do this? Asking him all these things. And she kept asking him, and he kept lying to her, giving her different answers. And then one day he got fed up of her asking. Don't ever get fed up of your woman asking about Valentine's Day, man. Don't ever get fed up and say, I'm going to celebrate it this year. Don't ever get fed up and say, you know what, to shut her up, I'm going to celebrate it. The same way she can keep the energy going, you keep your energy going and saying, no, man. Keep your energy going, man. It's going to be a standoff. You're going to say Valentine's Day. I'm going to say no. You're going to say Valentine's Day. I'm going to say no. And we're going to keep on going until you stop. I'm going to make my face harder than yours. I'm going to make my voice louder than yours. And we're going to keep on going, man, until you quit. I mean, how am I? Imagine the Lord's with me and it's not with you. But you can get me to give into your demands and I can't get you to follow what I want you to follow. Listen, man. The Lord is in charge of everything, man. If the Lord is with me and what you believe in is in vain and what I believe in is fact and it's prophecy and it's going to happen in the future, and I get weak and follow your way of life instead of you getting weak and following mine, maybe you was never serving the Lord in the first place, man. Right. That's what it means. If she can get you to go against what you believe and you know what she believes is in vain and it means nothing, if she can get you to do that, you wasn't serving the Lord in the first place. So Lucky, go ahead, Lucky, and get me verse 15 and then we can get out of here.
Kodawan Khan. Judges 16. Verse 15. It says, and she said unto him, how canst thou say, I love thee, when thine heart is not with me?
Said, how can you say you love me when your heart is not with me? And your woman is going to say this on Valentine's Day. Your woman is going to say, what your woman is going to say, how can you love me and you ain't got me no flowers, man? How can you say you love me and you ain't got me no chocolates? She's going to press you, man. You don't really love me, man. Because if you love me, guess what? You'd get me some chocolates, man. If you love me, you'd get me some flowers. If you loved me, you would do all of this for me if you loved me. And she's going to use that keyword, if you loved me. She's convinced you don't love her because you didn't get her chocolates on one day of the year. You didn't get her flowers. Go ahead.
Kodawan Khan. Thou hast mocked me these 3 times.
And now she asked him previously 3 times and he didn't tell her the truth. He didn't give her the answer she wanted. She's like, yo, you're mocking me. So Lucky, go ahead.
Kodawan Khan. And has not told me wherein thy great strength lieth.
And she wanted to know where his great strength came from. Go ahead.
Kodawan Khan. And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death.
Meaning this woman's getting on his nerves, man. She's pressing him. Nowadays, women press you with Valentine's Day and birthdays and Christmas, and he's vexed unto death, man. He's thinking, oh, man, let this woman keep asking me. He's getting annoyed now. She keeps asking him. Go ahead.
Kodawan Khan. That he told her all his heart.
He did what?
He told her all his heart.
He told her all his heart. And what's your heart in the Bible?
Your mind, sir.
Yeah, he told her all his mind. Imagine if you've got an issue with someone, this man would have told her all his mind. He would have told her what he thinks about this person, how he feels about this person. He would have told her his whole mind, man. Meaning he's coddling her and pillow talking, man. Talking how a man ain't supposed to. You're not supposed to tell your woman all your mind, man. Your woman ain't supposed to know not everything about your life. There's certain things you don't tell your woman, man. There's certain things you do not tell your woman. In the truth, being in the truth long enough, you will learn this. There's certain things you're not supposed to tell your woman. Why? Because women are emotional. So if you tell your woman all your mind, guess what happens? Like, say for instance, let's say for instance, you could be a man, and you could have an issue with someone, and then you as men can speak, and that issue's gone away now. You tell your woman all your heart and tell her all of these problems. Guess what happens? Guess what she does? She holds on to it, man. She don't let it go. And then the demon that you've done pass to her, she's gonna end up trying to pass that demon back to you. Understand this? When you're pillow talking to her, you're giving her demons that she ain't even supposed to have. You're putting things in her head and in her mind that you ain't supposed to, man. Don't be pillow talking. Your rib says, is everything okay? Yeah, man. What, man? It's so good. This man, Samson, told her all his mind, man. Told her all his heart. Imagine this is a strong man breaking down buildings and killing people. And when it comes to women, he's weak and soft, man. Telling her all his heart and pillow talking, man. Don't be doing that, man. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Kadawan Khan. There have not come a razor upon mine head.
And this man told her where his strength lies. Don't tell women your weaknesses, man. You ain't supposed to tell a woman your weakness. The Bible says, don't teach your wife an evil lesson against yourself. Don't tell her how to hurt you, man. Don't teach your wife what she can do will hurt you. Now, if you say to a woman, if you ever cheated on me, I love you so much, it will break me, but I'll stay with you. Guess what she's going to do? She's going to cheat on you. Why? Because you've taught her an evil lesson against yourself. You've taught her that you're a weak man, and if she cheats, you're still going to stay. Don't teach her your weaknesses, man. Don't teach her your weak points. You ain't tell your woman you got no weak points, man. If your woman asks you, what's your greatest fear? I have no fears, man. She asks, what's your weakness? I have no weaknesses, man. Don't teach her your weaknesses, because she will do what? Use it against you. And the same thing here happened to Samson. He thought this woman loved him. Imagine she told him, you don't love me. So he poured out his heart, and in return, she didn't love him, man. And this ultimately led to him being killed. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Kadawan Khan. There have not come a razor upon mine head.
And look at this man, this weak man telling his whole heart, there's not come a razor upon my head. Nice telling her how to make him weak. It's telling her his weaknesses. Don't do that as a man. Your woman asks you, what's your weaknesses? I have no weaknesses. All I have is strengths. That's it, man. I have no weaknesses. All I have is strengths. The only weakness I have is the lack of wages you're bringing in and giving me. That's my weakness. My weakness is the lack of wages you're bringing me. The lack of money you're bringing me. That's my weakness. You want to know what my weakness is? That lack of money you're bringing into the household. Maybe if you was bringing more money into the household, you wouldn't have time to ask me what my weaknesses is. You wouldn't have time to ask me to pour out my heart and all this nonsense. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Kadawan Khan. For I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb.
And nice saying I've been a Nazarite my whole life. Nice telling her how to break his vows. So, Lucky, go ahead. Like in here, you took up to celebrate Valentine's Day, not to celebrate Christmas. And if you celebrate those things, you broke the oath that you made when the oil was poured on your head. I hope you know. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Kadawan Khan. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me.
If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me. And this is what your woman will say to you: if we don't celebrate Valentine's Day, I'm gonna leave you. And you say, baby, don't leave, because if you leave, I can't live without you, and I'll do anything to keep you. And then she will say, all right, celebrate Valentine's Day and we can stay together. And she knows that you're gonna stay with her. She knows she can get you to celebrate Valentine's Day because you're scared to lose her. This is the thing, man. If she says, I'm gonna leave if you don't celebrate Valentine's Day, say shalom, man. Say, well, you know, that's on you, shalom. And then let her go out there and believe she's gonna find better. And she ain't gonna find better, man. Because the men in the ISUPK are the greatest men on the planet, man. You ain't gonna find better. Right. You think you're gonna find better, you're not gonna find better. You're gonna find a man that busts your head. This man's gonna be beating you, and you're gonna be thinking, damn, man, that's partner never used to put his hands on me. You're gonna be saying life was better there. Life was better with him. Once you open your legs to a next man, there's no more coming back this way.
That's right.
Once you open your legs to a next man, there's no more coming back this way, man.
Mhm.
You're going to be trying to come back, and you're going to be looking at the new woman, man, who didn't care about Valentine's Day, who didn't care about Easter, who didn't care about Christmas. You're going to be looking at her, wishing that was you, and you had that position, and you messed it up, man. If you're a sister, don't be stupid and don't jeopardize your relationship with a priest over Valentine's, man. Don't jeopardize your relationship with a man of God that will keep you safe, that will lose his life for you, man, over some stupid little flowers, man. Over some stupid little flowers which is going to die in about 3 days' time. Over some stupid little chocolates that you could have any day of the year. Don't fumble a priest for that, man. For some stupid celebration that the world celebrates. Don't fumble a priest for that. So like you read on.
Karawan Khan. For if I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I will become weak and be like any other man.
And he said he's going to become weak and be like any other man. And if you celebrate Valentine's Day, you become like any other man. How about you be a man which is supernatural and don't celebrate Valentine's Day? You see the men you're looking at right here in the ISUPK? These men ain't like any other man. These men ain't like any other man. These men ain't celebrating Valentine's Day. These men ain't pillow talking to their woman, telling their whole heart. These men ain't doing none of that soft stuff, man. The men in here are supernatural, whereas them men out there, that's just a natural man like any other man. The men in here are a special type of man. So like you read on.
Karawan Khan. And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines.
Listen, man, when you tell a woman all your heart, she don't even respect you, man. When you start being weak with a woman and pillow talking and be soft, you give her the ick, man. She starts saying, this man makes me sick, man. Look how soft he is, man. He's a crybaby. You think she don't go sit down with her friends and say, oh, my man cried to me and told me everything. My man cried on my shoulder and told me everything. You think she don't go tell her friends that? She tells her friends, this man's weak. He makes me sick. He was crying like in front of me. She tells her friends this, man. She'll rub you back while you're crying and tell you she loves you. But then she loses respect for you, man. She sees you as some little weak, soft man. So, like, is there any more on that before we head on out?
Yeah, there is actually. It's just basically saying, come this once, for he have showed me all his heart.
Your woman does the same thing, man. She tells her friends in the group chat. You end up in the group chat. Oh, that nigga was crying, man. He as hardcore as he made up. He was crying on my shoulder, man. Telling me all his heart. He was crying, man. You think she don't have these conversations with her best friend? And when she falls out with her best friend, guess what happens? You find out all the pillow talking you done to her. She done told all her friends. And guess what her friends do? Her friends tell their man. Their man tells his friends. You're thinking only she knows. The whole world knows, man. Whereas nobody would have known if you just kept the doors of your mouth shut like the Bible says, man. The Bible teaches wisdom, practical knowledge, the whole lot, man. It teaches you how to keep everything in order. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Then the lords of the Philistines came up onto her and brought money in her hand.
Money in her hand. Go ahead.
And she made him sleep upon her knees.
After pillow talking, this man fell asleep on her knees, man. Fell asleep on her knees thinking I poured my heart out and she loves me. Go ahead.
And she called for the man and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head.
All these men, he told her his weakness. And when you tell a woman your weakness, she's going to use your weakness against you. She used the weakness against him and called these men to shave off his 7 braids. So, Lucky, go ahead.
And she began to afflict him.
And when you tell a woman your weakness, she begins to afflict you. You ain't as strong as you think you are. You was crying the other day because of this. You ain't as strong as you are. You was crying the other day because of that. Don't make out like you're this big macho man when you was crying and you told me you're scared of this. And she's going to use it to afflict you, man. Keep the doors of your mouth shut. So, Lucky, go ahead.
And And she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him.
And his strength went from him. And if you celebrate Valentine's Day, your strength's gonna go from you. Because once you start celebrating Valentine's Day, next minute after that she's gonna have you cross-dressing. Once cross-dressing takes over, like it already is, your woman's gonna start making you wear a skirt. Next, you're gonna be doing the matching Christmas pajamas. Next, you're gonna be doing all the matching gimp suits and all of those kind of things. Your strength's gonna be gone from you, man, if you give in to that woman. Let this be a lesson. Don't give in to that woman. With that, we up on the time. Clap it up. That's like a quarters, you can call it, because we over the time. Yeah, no, okay.
One courtesy with salute to the teacher. Amajam Shabbat. Amajam Barak. How about you?
Y'all about showing Shabbat Kafam.
Classes, miss.
All right, Shalom, Israel. We'll be here tomorrow.
Shalom.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, Lord in Christ. All right, for water for everyone that was in the class. We'll be here next week with some more history. All right, Shalom, Israel.